Everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me. I am continuing the readings surrounding Kei'MANI Latigue's case. And this is a very tragic case if you don't know about it. If this is your first time hearing about it, check out my playlist. Start from video 1 and it'll take you throughout the journey. And here we are. We are now moving into the next part of the questions I have related to Kei'MANI's biological mom, Tiara. So in the part prior to this one, we got to question 6. We're moving on to question number 7. And this is what I've been curious about. Why didn't Tiara mention the visit to Cleveland? Why didn't she mention that at the probate court? Father of air. Okay. I'll show you in a moment. Why didn't she mention the March 15th visit to the probate court, Judge Spirit? Uh-oh. I want to make sure. Inferno. Everything crumbling. Huh. She took a gamble and lost. Wow. Okay. She didn't want to, okay, the father of air is often associated with, the king of swords. This father of air is king of swords, a judge, if you will. And so I feel like with a judge, you want to tell him the truth. You don't want to open up another can of worms of trying to sort out what is the truth and what's really going on. Like, she took a gamble. This is the Wheel of Fortune. And she lost. She chose to intentionally withhold that information. For some reason, she just knew that Dorothy wasn't going to bring up the visit, and she just didn't see how that could help her case with this judge. It also is something about the whole visit itself. It's not on the up and up, and if she took this before a court, which, if you're lying to a court, that's like perjury. If you are misrepresenting something, you can get in trouble, for that. So I think she really thought about it. Look at this. We have Inferno, chaos, job loss, everything is crumbling. Soul contract, soulmates, partnership, spiritual union, questions surrounding the father, the paternity. She needed to protect that. I'm seeing that because now I'm looking at the father of air from a different vantage point. We have another card about collapse or ruin. Something she needed to keep this a secret. She took a gamble. She was like, I know Dorothy's probably not going to bring it up. And she was right. And she felt like it would just open up a whole can of worms in presenting this in front of the judge. These two kinds of cards of Inferno, maybe she just was not able to make it there. So another thing is she wanted to keep the court proceedings, at least from her end, as minimal as possible. Say less to the judge, as minimal as possible, in and out. She was going through some sort of heavy drama in the midst of that probate court hearing. The inability, we have job loss, everything is crumbling, chaos, the inability to even be present in the courtroom. There was a lot. She lost her daughter. That is a lot, but it was something more. It could be her transportation, means to get there, And so she just figured, I think she knew that this was a losing thing. I think she knew that she wasn't going to be able to sway the court, the judge, her way. So she didn't really invest much in it. Okay, that's what I get for that. Let me know what you all think. I'm going to zoom in just a moment so you can see the cards up close. And then I'm going to shift them over there and we're going to keep going. Okay, next up is, this is question number 8. What's the true nature of the relationship between Darnell and Tiara? Mother of air. Okay. There's a budding new opportunity that she planned. Yeah. Trying to get Spirit the true nature of their relationship. Anything else? Oh, one card. One more card. Okay. They have quite a long-standing relationship. We all know, right? Spans over several years. And Mother of Air, Ace of Earth. In recent times, there was something, a budding new venture, opportunity came about. Something that was presented by Tiara, allegedly. Ace of Earth. A new opportunity, a new monetary venture or work. So in recent times, the nature of their relationship, it felt more like they were working together on something, and she was like kind of dictating or running a plan or something like that. Distractions. Temptation, always busy, kept you waiting. There are times where it feels like maybe she felt that way about him or he felt that way about her over the, course of years. And yeah, distractions. Also, this card is about distractions, about the act of causing a distraction, distracting from. So, for example, Tiara was distracting away or taking the attention away from Darnell with all of the rhetoric and upset energy towards her mother, Dorothy, right? That tends to feel like a distraction. There's been a lot of distractions, and it's tied to communication, a woman communicating, but maybe it's because she's trying to prevent something, or maybe she wants this. We have controversy, drama, scandal, truth coming out. Now she could be like, my truth is coming out about my history, and that's what it is, and she's embracing the controversy. But there could be also something about this new venture that they were working on. Not so much of the romance. I suppose it could be a new physical, it could be something physical in their relationship. We have this, says temptation. So yes, a monetary something, but also, a physical representation of them coming back together within recent times. We have message, communication, conversation, expressing feelings. Okay. And then no contact. Block, silent treatment, cut off all communication. I don't know what that could mean. I don't know if at times they just had that kind of rough, kind of up and down relationship. That could be what it was. But in recent times, they were communicating. They were working something out. But I have to say, she caused a lot as it pertains to her relationship with Darnell. Tiara has caused a lot of confusion about the nature of it. And I think that's part of it. I think there's a strong affinity for him. She wanted to use him as a useful tool to some degree with these cards. And ultimately, it's like, I mean, we see what happened. It totally backfired. But yeah, I don't know. They got a mixed up kind of energy here. Yeah. Question number 9. How did Tiara feel about Darnell in the past? And maybe this might help us with this last question. Mother of Water in reverse. Queen of Cups in reverse. How does she feel? How does Tiara feel about Darnell today? Okay. 8 of Air, 8 of Wands, high anxiety. Okay. Past. How does she feel about him in the past? Childish. What about in the present? How does she feel about him in the present? Okay, the Swords is now imprisonment of the mind, high anxiety, toxic. Okay, that fell to the floor. So in the past, we have Mother of Earth or Queen of Cups in reverse. She may have always, maybe they had an initial love for one another and genuine history together, but it never felt like this was a relationship that was built to last. It was never a loving, a thoroughly consistent loving relationship. And she knows that. She's had his back, yes. We've seen that. We see it, even with what's been going on with Kei'mani. But the childish card, it could be, at first I thought she thinks of him as childish, and that could be the case. But it's almost like she has a childish understanding about keeping certain people in her life. It says immature, argumentative, playing the victim. Not really having a good read on people and not really having a good read on him has led to some negative outcomes in their love relationship. Because he was acting childish. He was immature. They did argue. Somebody was always playing the victim in their dynamic. So the past wasn't as rosy as she wants to make it out to be. Look, she's got blinders on. Okay, now, present, interference, 8 of Swords, high anxiety, stress and an imprisonment of your own making with her. That's the energy I'm getting, like now it's starting to hit her, like what's really going on here as it relates to Darnell. We have toxic people, addictions, bad advice, wrong crowd. Maybe that's how she feels about him now, or maybe, they share in some kind of addictive behaviors, allegedly. Not necessarily just substances, but could be behaviors. It says bad advice, wrong crowd. Intimacy, passion, coming into union, chemistry, and missing you. There's, with the traditional 8 of Swords, just like this card, the person is wearing a blindfold in the traditional card. And I feel like even now she's got her blinders on and surrounding herself even more so with this mental like noise that like they have something. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not mentally well is what I'm picking up on here. And in this, I don't know how to even make of it, because I do expect anxiety, yes, but I would expect more anger or intense sadness, and I'm just not getting that. I'm not getting that with these two cards. And hey, that's her business. You know? So, at the end of the day. Number 10. Is she in the know as to what happened to Kei'mani? Queen of Pentacles. Okay, yes. If so, what is her level of involvement? Okay. 8 of Earth. She didn't really do... Okay. I'll share with you all in a moment what I think this means. What's her level of involvement, if anything? We have cell phone records, distraction. What is she distracting from? Rejection. I really feel like she didn't want people to know something about monetary situations. Throughout the entire reading series I've done for Kei'mani's case, I picked up on a greed, a monetary something, a plan, a plot, a script, if you will. That keyword kept coming up. And I feel like, yes, she's very heavily influenced by having something get set into motion. I just do not. This is where this card is interesting to me. It's in reverse. It's the Eight of Earth or Eight of Pentacles, but in reverse, it's like, no, she didn't have a hand per se or a desire. This was not a desired outcome for her. You know, what happened to Kei'mani. But in terms of setting things into motion, which led her daughter to be, you know, in heightened risk with this man, that she did do and that she is in the know about. And there's an element of this plan and plot that she doesn't want to let come out, allegedly, okay? Cell phone records, critical information, text messages, I don't know, any other digital correspondence, social media posts, things of that nature. What you can see on your cell phone, videos, pictures. There was things captured, you know, that perhaps law enforcement, because I would imagine law enforcement's looked at everyone closest to Kei'mani, looked at their phones and phone records, I would imagine, right? So we got that here with this card. Let me scoop that down. Distraction or diversion. There's something about it, like, and I feel like I can't shake why she's constantly doing distractions and diversions, other than just that there was some kind of other plot going on that paints her not in a flattering light. You know, that's what I could see here. And yeah, distraction and diversion. Also the fact that she's, you know, there is this vein of loyalty between her and Darnell. We have here rejection. Either she doesn't want to reject him, or she's been rejected by him, or she doesn't want, there's some kind of trauma bond, I guess you could say, and rejecting the truth of the matter. Motive, control, or domination. Like maybe she knows a bit more about what happened between Darnell. Like, I feel like she may have seen something in recent times and chose to reject it, reject the understanding like something was off with him, allegedly. This is not to blame her or anything like that, but some kind of sign. Like she should have like picked up on it, because it could have been something like seeing a rejection between, or a rebuttal or rebuff from Kei'mani towards him and how he reacted. Something like that. And that could have like raised alarm bells for any other person who was like really attuned and paying attention, but she wasn't. This also could represent her distraction. Her being constantly distracted by what? Her cell phone. Being preoccupied with what's going on her cell phone, allegedly. Question number 11, was she really trying to get custody of Kei'mani? Like, did she really have that as an intention? 7 of Wands in reverse. This is a no card. She was mentioning that she was trying to gain custody. What was her motive in mentioning that she was planning to get custody? 5 of Fire, 5 of Wands, conflict. It's so interesting to me that she didn't really necessarily have a plan or a method to getting Kei'mani, other than she was just going to start doing what she wants to do. Maybe she was just overwhelmed with what she would have to do with the reverse 7 of Wands. But this is a no card. Like, it's not a no necessarily, I guess. Well, let me say this. I'm getting my words all a kerfuffle. I don't get a sense that, I feel like she just would have given up with the 7 of Wands in reverse. Why did she go around saying that? To kick up dust. 5 of Fire, 5 of Wands, conflict, petty arguments, to be petty, to try to get your way, to be kind of like a petulant child, pitching a fit. Conflict draws in, all sorts of attention. Her motive was definitely also to be strategic in winning. But the problem is she didn't have a real plan aside from where she got to the point of just trying to have Kei'mani come up whenever unofficially. And that, hey, that's fine, but I don't know. I'm not seeing a real actual intention of fighting in the long run. This is all planning. Anything else? Okay. Make it rain. Okay. So this over here. Planning. Sitting underneath the Seven of Wands in reverse. It says text, phone call, meet up. So planning. So she's got that going. But it takes more to that to ready yourself for trying to get regular visitation, get that whole process started. But, you know, again, it starts with a plan, I suppose. But I'll just leave it at that. Make it rain. It says manifesting abundance, legal matters in your favor, unexpected money, promotional entrepreneur. So remember how I said, why did she say this? Why did she make noise that she was trying to get custody, even though really I'm not picking that up officially? Well, make it rain. That's what it says here. A windfall. Legal matters in your favor. Manifesting abundance, unexpected money and promotion, entrepreneur. Isn't she an entrepreneur? So it generated something for her financially. That's what I'm picking up on here with these cards. Now we're moving on to the next question. Number 12. Why is Tiara, or why was she? I don't know if she is anymore. Why was she so defensive over Darnell? Was it denial or something else? What was that about? Give us a card. Ace of Air in reverse. The Devil. Oh my God. Card came up in the family. All right. So this is interesting. Ace of Air, Ace of Swords in reverse, the Devil. Very much compelled. It feels like she was hiding her. This card says hiding their true feelings, deep emotions, secretly in love, cold and detached. There's something about her mental processing, friends. And that's what I guess I've maybe spiritually have been trying to spit out, but I didn't have the right words, but now it's starting to become clear. There's something about her mental ways of how she processes things. Like her relationship to the truth is not the same as for most people, right? For example, it's maybe born out of survival. I don't know, but there's also something else going on. There's a loyalty to things that aren't necessarily good for you, people who are not necessarily good for you, behaviors, money, you know. I don't know. It just, some people would say, you know, they have a negative, toxic pattern of being together, and there's this sense that she believes that he's like family. He'd do the same for her. I don't know. It's odd to me. Maybe they were building or working on a family. I don't know. Some people be like, if there's ulterior motives of why she was defending him, or why she didn't outright, you know, condemn what he did. Because really, I don't think anyone's really expecting her to be like, you know, bashing him all over the place, but definitely speaking up about the wrongs he's done, what he's done. All she's been really harping on since we saw her on lives was, what was going on with her mother. So it's just interesting to me. We have here avoidance, in hiding, feeling guilty, no communication. And she was also telling these tales of like, oh, I'm talking to him, when in fact she wasn't really talking to him. That's what this card is saying, no communication. There's a part of her that feels really guilty. I was wondering and worried, like, is there any part of her that feels remorseful or guilty about the role of having this guy come back into Kei'mani's life? And in this instance, kind of being the one that set it into motion, where once again she's uncomfortably thrown around him. Yeah, it says in hiding, feeling guilty. She avoids the questions. She dances around the truths of the matter. It's easier just to tell tall tales and stories, to hide try her true feelings, to feel guilty but not reveal that. She has also in her wiring this way of not being, if she's being vulnerable, it's for the sake of getting money. And that has a price. We have envy, hater, spiteful, jealousy. Not quite sure what this could mean, but maybe to incite jealousy. I don't know. She's not afraid to deal with the hate that's been coming, her way, for her avoidance of saying what it is, like he's a monster. Family connections. This runs deeper than, what I think she knows this. There's a lot of deflection, patterns of deflection. So there's a lot going on here. Why she just doesn't fess up and be like, he's a shithead, and I want to, hurt him. I can't believe he did this. Like, we just haven't seen the outrage. All right. What is up with all of her conflicting statements? Like some would say she just lies, or she got caught in several lies. We have here 4 of water, which could denote some sense of boredom. 6 of water, 6 of cups, 4 of cups. Okay. Avoid judgment. There's most. Okay. She is literally a walking red flag. You have to really, it says signs, cheating, deception. You really have to take what she says like with a grain of salt. Literally, like maybe she's known throughout her lifetime, through her family, and she knows that about herself, but she's fine with that. This is the sense that I get with this judgment card. She anticipates it like an intense scrutiny from people around her. It's just something that she knows. But she knows that about herself. She does it to just, survive in a sense. I guess with this 4 of cups, it says comfort. So she needs stability. But this card is also about someone who derives a little bit of joy. She has a little bit of fun when she's bored. So I don't know, make of that what you may with it. We have unfinished business, proposal, forgiveness, or reconciliation. Pictures, regrets, reminiscing, or missing you. It's this longing of connection, of being important to someone or a community. We see that here. Rock bottom, karma, jail, legal issues, and life falling apart. It's almost like to prevent from hitting rock bottom, to prevent facing the harsh reality, she'd rather tell stories. Not realizing she's, really accelerating to her rock bottom. But she literally cannot, anything that she puts forth, any kind of idea, any kind of accusation, please know that you need to properly evaluate and vet that information, because this is something she's accustomed to. This also could stem from something from her childhood with the Six of Cups, of an emotional response. Maybe she's always had a history of lying and being deceptive, allegedly. We see that here with the Six of Cups. Okay. What's coming up for Tiara as it relates to this tragic case? We have 10 of air, destruction. That's 10 of swords. Wow. There's more fighting coming her way, being betrayed, having, the chicken's coming home to roost, having to atone for something with the destruction card, 10 of swords. I don't know, someone coming out to feast on a dead carcass. I don't know, it sounds morbid, but the symbolism is interesting to me. Like, how much more can you pick? And I think that's really what it's going to boil down to. It's like she's like a vulture in a way. I don't know if I guess if you think about vultures and what they do, they circle over situations and are opportunists in the way that something is dying or something is, in a tragic way. So you're opportunist. So that may be, coming to light. More fighting, more bickering with the family, infighting coming up for the next 10 months or so. And then especially between now and until the end of next winter for her. This is going to be a really hard journey for her with this 10 of swords. She may seem like she's strong and stoic, or maybe that's this facade, the masquerade. We got that masquerade card. She likes to throw up different masks, but really, no, that's just, I don't know. It's not going to be the case. Falling on some misfortune with the reverse Father of Earth, not trustworthy dealings, or finding out about dealings, financial dealings or mishaps. Maybe something to do with the, donations, or having to deal with somebody who's unscrupulous. Misfortune as it relates to a man, falling on even harder times, particularly at the end of autumn. The reverse universe, like her whole universe is going to be turned upside down. This is not to wish bad on her, by the way. Her whole universe could be, having to face what this man has done and really having to process. Right now, I'm just not feeling a sense of processing on her part. And that could be her survival. This could be the form of it. But her world is about to be turned upside down. Another key time period is about early winter, December 21st to January 20th. That a time of significance either in her past related to Kei'mani or in the future during that time period. So it's like, Yeah, it's going to be a rough, challenging 10 months or so for her. We have sick and tired, cycles over it, decision made, fighting, trust issues, one-sided, detached, but fighting. Lots of infighting, money, this or that, blame, double life, liar, deception in another relationship. Maybe she'll be getting into another relationship, or more lies coming out, more deception being put forth, more of that coming, and the more that energy coming out. I'm hoping that she just goes off and be quiet and just grieves and mourns in quiet, but I don't know. When I see liar and deception, it gives me the feeling that she may be putting stuff out there. Lies and deception, you know? So, yeah, I mean, when you think of, I'm hoping it's nothing legal, like the law is coming and turning her life upside down. Maybe not necessarily for taking Kei'mani's life. Maybe so. I don't know. But it just feels like rough times ahead, very, like, in these coming months. All right, my dears, thank you all so much for watching. We are wrapping up our close look at the biological mom of Kei'mani. I am so sorry to everyone who is touched and affected by the devastating death of Kei'mani. You know, my heart goes out to all of you. Take very good care of yourselves. Do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. All right, friends. Bye for now.